Well, good morning. It's lovely to see you all here. Thank you for coming today, and we welcome everyone here and also everyone who is sharing today's service on live stream. So thank you to Candlelight Funeral Home for arranging that. My name's Tess Veloso. I'm a life cycle celebrant. I'm trained by the Celebrant Foundation and Institute and a member of Natural Transitions Institute. We're here today to honor and to say farewell to Susan Marie Schall. Susan left us on December 7th of this year at the age of 71. Please turn off your cell phones and any other device that might make noise during our gathering. I'm watching. I just found this quote. Well, I didn't really just find it. I've had this quote. And I just felt I wanted to share it. I don't know if it's Susan telling me to do this or not, but this is I'd like to just start with this quote. It's by Lisa Henry. When someone dies, there ought to be something. It ought to shake the world. You're not supposed to walk away. So thank you all for not walking away and for coming here today, for Emily and Andrew and for the rest of the family. So let us calm and quiet our hearts as we create this sacred space of remembrance and honor. This candle gives light to darkness, and it offers us remembrance. The flame reminds us of Susan and her presence in your life and in the world. It's a symbol of her spirit, her life, and her transformation. We hold Susan's memory with great reverence. We're here because of the bond of love and the desire for healing. And so we begin this celebration of life for Susan. With great affection and tenderness, we enfold Susan's children, Emily and Andrew, Emily's husband, Christopher, Emily and Andrew's dad, James, Susan's brother, Nick, and his wife, Diane, and Susan's niece, Elena. And we include Susan's sisters, Marianne and Ellen, her grandchildren, Jovi and Caden, who weren't able to be here today. We acknowledge everyone who holds grief and sadness, those who are part of Susan's life in so many ways, those who love her and who feel the pain of her loss. I invite Susan's daughter, Emily, to come forward to offer her eulogy for Susan.
Good morning. I first want to extend a sincere and heartfelt welcome to all of you who have come here today to honor Susan, our mother, at this busy time of year. What an amazing gesture of love and support, family, and friendship. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Your presence means more than I can begin to express. I admittedly didn't know where to start in writing this eulogy. How does one possibly capture the life of one's mother? All the love, the embraces, the kisses, the memories can't possibly be captured by the best of poets, much less by me in my own plain words, left with an outpouring of feelings I can't begin to describe. But I owe it to her to try, so here goes. Here is my tapestry of memories, somewhat disjointed and unorganized, but nevertheless woven together with the strongest threads of love and devotion. I can tell you about my mom's accomplishments, with which many of you are familiar. She would always say that her greatest achievement was her children, myself and Andrew. And we would always laugh and say, obviously, I mean, how could you top this pinnacle of perfection? During which we would inevitably be lazing about the house in our pajamas at noon during Christmas break, drinking eggnog and accomplishing absolutely nothing. However, we knew what she meant. She raised us to become good people, and for that we are forever grateful. For my mom, learning was as essential to life as breathing. She was always reading and wanting to push herself to learn more, to become a better parent, a better person, the best possible version of herself. And she taught us to do the same. She graduated from Geisinger Medical Center School of Nursing in 1976 and later graduated with a degree in fine arts from Bloomberg State College in 1983. After I was born, she devoted the next decade or so to raising me and Andrew. I remember her reading countless parenting books to ensure she was supporting our emotional health while holding high expectations and pushing us to be our best selves. Once we were older, she pursued her Master's of Education degree in counselor education, and not long after became a certified rehabilitation counselor, which enabled her to combine her love of people, her RN, her therapy experience, to help people with traumatic brain injuries find jobs, lead productive lives, and push them to reach their highest potential. Although I'm proud of my mom's academic accomplishments, I will always remember her by the values she instilled. A fierce defender of her children, she was always our safe place. She was a proponent of kindness and establishing boundaries. She pushed us to be our best selves, while reminding us that our self-worth was never defined by performance. It was clear she would love us equally as gifted students or ex-murderers. We were her children. Unconditional love was paramount. Although we were financially fortunate growing up, she would remind us that many weren't as lucky and to appreciate what we had. This time of year reminds me that she would always give us each $1 and have us put money in the Salvation Army bin outside the local department store every single time we went. I remember in the first grade picking out many of my favorite dresses to give to a fellow classmate who needed clothes, and also to a Russian family who had just immigrated to the area. In short, I have grown up with a tremendous amount of empathy for others and thankfulness for what I have. I will always attribute this to her dedicated upbringing. In addition to values, we shared so much fun. As an adult, my memories of her are filled with wine and Scrabble nights, where she would ruthlessly beat me every single time. I cannot think of a time when I ever won Scrabble against her. Sometimes we would play Trivial Pursuit, which was even worse. We came up with a rule that she would have to circle the board twice to win, and I would only have to circle around once, and still she won every single time. Turns out I was only good at the science category, and she excelled at all of them except sports. So we both skipped sports, because who cares? Nevertheless, I still got wheat thins and wine out of the deal, so perhaps that's why I agreed to get pummeled every single visit to our house. Our bonding time was shopping. We would always shop together at a nearby mall, rarely buying anything, just treasuring our time together. Over time, she learned my taste so well that she managed to find me my perfect senior prom dress without me even being there. It was perfect in taste and size. We called it the Audrey Hepburn dress. This penchant for shopping soon turned into a thrift shop hobby for her later in life. She would call me with her shopping triumphs, inevitably something Ralph Lauren with tags intact at an incomprehensible price. As Andrew and I grew older, my mom developed a love for rescue dogs. Andrew and I both laughed, stunned, as she was never before an animal person. Her Siberian Husky, Zoe, and later her German Shepherd mix, Annie, were the apples of her eye. All of her stories and deeds were devoted to them, and soon her house was accessorized with dog hair and dog decor. It was heartwarming to see her love for these dogs and the mutual love they shared for her. As my mom grew older and acquired dementia, the characteristics of her that never changed were her strength, her beauty, and her sense of humor. Even after I moved her into our first assisted living facility, I remember she would stop people in the hall and mumble something absolutely unintelligible and laugh. And I couldn't help but laugh as well because I could tell by that twinkle in her eye that whatever she just said was absolutely savage and and that she was enjoying herself immensely. I only wish I could hear what it was. In all, she lived in 3 different assisted living facilities, and as her dementia progressed, all I ever heard from her caregivers were comments about how beautiful she was. She was always beautiful, inside and out, and that is one of the things I admire most about her. She was always strong, too. As her daughter, I was always taught by her the importance of financial independence and self-reliance. She had a Shakespearean quote from A Midsummer Night's Dream on her fridge that said, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." And nothing is more true. Although she was 5'4", at her tallest, absolutely no one would mess with her throughout life. She held her ground unapologetically. This strength followed her to the very end, when the hospice caregivers every day would marvel at her strength despite her stature. "She's a fighter," they would say, and shake their heads unbelievably. And I would reply, that is how she has always been. In short, the conclusion of this eulogy is the hardest part to write. I thank her for the woman I will always aspire to be: independent, confident, empathetic, loving, and ambitious. She was a fantastic parent, therapist, counselor, and friend. And I will forever be inspired by the life she led and the principles she held dear. Andrew and I are so very grateful for the values she instilled and the love she gave. One last trait of hers that I'd like to share is that she always believed in signs, that loved ones that passed were still present in our lives. She would always tell me that even after she passes, she will give me signs that she is near. Therefore, I will share one last story. After my mom passed in Ellicott City, Maryland, the hospice nurse who came to declare her death noticed my unusual area code and asked me where I was from. I told her I was raised in Huntington, Pennsylvania, which is a small town in central Pennsylvania unknown to most. She responded that her husband was born and raised in Huntington, Pennsylvania, and that she was born and raised in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, the town where my mom spent the majority of her life after we grew up. I can't help but think that this was a nod from my mother, a last farewell to let us know that she is still with us, cheering us on through even the hardest of times. I almost collapsed in tears when she told me this, but it meant the world to me. I hope this means something to you too, as you grieve her passing. My mom lives on. She is here in the love and the memories and values she passed on to me and Andrew and shared with all of you. She is with you and she loves you. And I thank you so much for being here today. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much, Emily. We know you and your mom were very close, and we know your heart is very tender with grief. It was literally lovely. Beyond the degrees and college courses, Susan sought wisdom and knowledge of life in a larger context. She wanted to know the why of things, to understand how things fit together, excuse me, to unravel the meaning of life and the synchronicities she found in it. She wanted to discover the bigger picture, to explore our souls, and yes, to discover angels and whatever may lie outside of our humanness. The book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, became her Bible, her sacred scripture. In summary, the book purports that there is a powerful force within each woman. This force consists of good instincts, passionate creativity, and ageless knowing. It describes the instinctive nature of women, their self-awareness, and the necessary growth cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Susan's love for this book tells us the depth of the life she wanted to live, the life she knew was somewhere both inside and outside of herself. This is a quote from the book. Practice listening to your intuition, your inner voice. Ask questions. Be curious. See what you see, hear what you hear, and then act upon what you know to be true. These intuitive powers were given to your soul at birth. This became Susan's roadmap for life. Susan was independent, strong-willed, ambitious, and often stubborn. She possessed a depth of self that allowed her to be by herself, but she also had the confidence to be the life of the party when she was with others. Her laugh was loud and infectious, and how could you resist a woman who found connection so important? Susan found great joy in haunting thrift stores. She didn't just haunt them, but she gloried in hunting and finding bargains and values. Victory was won when Susan found items that still had the original tags on them. She loved bragging to Emily, who had become her cohort in thrifting. It was a perfect pastime for someone so attuned to discovery. That desire for discovery was an internal desire and wasn't limited to items in secondhand shops. Susan lived her life in self-discovery, always reaching for what she didn't know and searching for connection beyond herself. Curiosity, fierce and protective love, an unending quest for wisdom, a desire to help. Susan lived these qualities. Susan was proud of her independence and her strength. She created beauty in her artwork and in her budding interest in decorating and interior design. Her ambition was to complete a doctorate degree. As Emily mentioned, Susan's rescue dogs, Zoe and Annie, were loyal and loving companions. They actually became built into Susan's life. They had become a necessity. I'm sure Susan found great meaning in this line, again, from Women Who Run with the Wolves. Dogs are the magicians of the universe. When dementia descended slowly and unavoidably, Susan's essence became hidden by physical decline and infirmity, but it never truly left her. Her infectious laugh gave it away every day. Her spirit was not conquered. It became concealed, just like the hidden gems that she sought in the most cluttered of thrift stores. Susan was a force of her own making. As Emily told us, Susan embodied this line from Shakespeare, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." Through education, a strong will, and a yearning for discovery, Susan never let up, and she never gave up. She cherished her role as mother, and she sought the mystery of the unknown. She saw beauty in the world around her and believed that we each have a part to play in the world. And so we honor Susan and her endless quest for knowledge and insight, for her desire to use her abilities for the good of others, and for the unbounded love and care she gave to Emily and Andrew. Her mark in the world is the mark she made in the hearts of others, in your hearts. And that mark will continue to touch the world as each of you lives your life. Susan was a person with gifts and unapologetic passions, with quirks and abilities. The memories she helped create spill out into the world, too numerous to count. And I'm thinking each of you has a story about Susan. If anyone would like to share their thoughts or memories of Susan, I invite you to come forward. I just ask that you limit your time to 1 or 2 minutes. And if you are more comfortable holding your thoughts quietly in your hearts, that's just fine. So if anyone would like to come forward, I invite you now.
Let's see if I could do this. Emily was beautiful about Susan as an adult, but it's Christmas, and I was putting up our train, and I just thought of this story. It was funny. When I was I guess I was 2 years old. I don't remember when I received my training from my father. I think it was one of those deals where he really wanted to train. Because I don't remember. I was a little too young, and I remember I wasn't really allowed to get too close to it there when I was too small. So, but what have to do with Susan? Is I remember we had this one car, and it was a maintenance car or something. It had little men on it, and we used to like to play with those little guys, and they'd go down and fix the tracks and things. Well, somewhere along the way, that car got broken. And we both looked at each other like, "Oh, this isn't good." I mean, I don't think Dad's going to appreciate this too much. But I was amazed. I was only a little guy, but Susan was pretty amazing, pretty good with that kind of thing. She managed to put it together reasonably well, and I still have that car. In fact, I have it out this year for that reason. But I just wanted to say, now that I'm here, that. As far as breaking that car, it wasn't your fault, okay? We can finally get that straight, all right? I didn't do it. But anyway, but yeah, Susan was amazing. She was all the way from when she was a little kid, like I said. I don't know. I was mentioning I'm one of the old people here, apparently, so I thought I had to mention that. It was always a pleasure. And she was certainly strong-willed, but got her point across. But we'll certainly miss her very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other stories about trains or anything else? Okay. So thank you. I know you're sitting there thinking about how Susan was in your life. And I hope you can continue to share your thoughts about Susan the rest of today. It's very important for all of us to share that, and particularly for Emily and Andrew to hear those stories. And if you so desire, there's a basket here or a box here. You can write a memory here, and that will be given to the family at the end of the day. Whatever the circumstances, when we lose someone we love, we always want more time with them. The last few years of Susan's life were quite difficult. The onset of dementia caused immeasurable sadness, requiring a different way of being with Susan. It was as if another person had moved in and taken over what we love most. In essence, Susan was lost twice. We wish things had been different. There was more to say, more to express, and more to share. As you think about Susan, remember how your lives entwined. Take a few moments now to speak to her quietly from your heart. Let your heart be a door that opens to let things out and to let things in. Say to Susan the things you wanted to say but couldn't, happy or difficult. Leave your regrets here. You can be certain that Susan is holding her arms wide open to each of you, because now she does understand everything. So we'll just take a few moments now of just quiet. Thank you. Don't let that be the last time you talk to Susan either. She'll be waiting. Okay. So much went into Susan's care in the last several years. As you know, it sometimes takes a village. Susan's family is grateful to these organizations: Morningside House of Ellicott City, Brighton Gardens in Columbia, Lighthouse Senior Living, and Gilchrist Center in Howard County. Susan's family would like to thank the staff here at Candlelight Funeral Home for their compassionate help in making today's gathering possible. And most of all, the family offers their deep gratitude to each of you for being present today, to share their sorrow and to bear witness to Susan's life and legacy. Your compassion will be long remembered. Now I invite Erin, the funeral director, to come up for a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the memorial service here at the funeral home. We will be having the burial of Susan's cremated remains at the Serenity Ridge Natural Burial Cemetery in Windsor Mill. Our arrival time there is 11:30, so we can feel free to kind of hang out, continue to share the warm memories, and see people we haven't seen in a while, and then around 11 o'clock probably make our way over there. We're not doing a procession, which will probably be pretty helpful, but if you go out on Rolling Road and go straight across all the way to Dogwood and make a left is the easiest way to get to that cemetery. If anybody has any questions, feel free to let me know and we can get you some directions. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate it.
And also, and I'm going to say this again at the cemetery, following the ceremony at the cemetery, everyone's invited, Emily and Andrew are inviting everyone to Kelsey's Irish Pub in Ellicott City for a roaring good time. And so our celebration of life is coming to a close. In a moment, this candle would be extinguished. And just like this candle, Susan's life shone brightly in how she lived and how she gave of herself. But let's allow Susan to have the last word through what became Susan's sacred scripture, the book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. I hope you will go out and let stories, that is your life, happen to you, and that you will work with these stories from your life, not someone else's life. Water them with your blood and tears and your laughter until they bloom, till you yourself burst into bloom. That is the work. That is the only work. As we extinguish this candle, we know that Susan still has a place in our hearts. Her love is irreplaceable. Her memories live. Your grief will find joy. But for now, we say, thank you, Susan. We love you. And we say goodbye. Today you came together because of your love for Susan. May you remember this day with tenderness, reminding yourselves of what connects you to each other, and remembering what Susan's love made possible. We conclude this ceremony with this prayer by St. John Newman. May God support us all the day long, till the shades lengthen and the evening comes, and the busy world is hushed, and the fever of life is over, and our work is done. Then in God's mercy, may God give us a safe lodging, a holy rest, and peace at the last. Amen. And now we will proceed in the last part of Susan's journey. I'll meet you at the cemetery. Again, thank you for being here for Susan and for each other, and may your memories of Susan rest peacefully in your hearts. Blessings to each of you.